The last 4 or 5 years have seen major issues. I mean, certainly from where I sit, the major issue has been the political battle on a local level with regard to council. One of the great issues, as far as I'm concerned, is always, of course, to try and inform people, and to educate people as much as I can. And that's one of the wonderful things about this area, is its adult education and the number of people doing, continuing to study, continuing to find out, and continuing to seek information and education, and to improve themselves and become more knowledgeable and more aware. That's wonderful, and that happens very strongly here, and that should be encouraged to the greatest degree. But as far as the issues of the last 5 or 6 years are concerned, there's the political issue of getting an understanding council in place that really does act in the best interests of the community as a whole, rather than simply follow the railway line, the railway track of previous example, of previous precedent, and just say, okay, well, we built one building, and we'll just build another, and then we'll build another, and another, and another. So the issue has been to have a council in place that is going to stop, the development. Development itself, of course, has been a huge issue. The degradation of the environment, the pollution of our rivers, and the damage done to so much of our natural infrastructure, the wildlife. There's cats everywhere now. And there's feral cats. You drive up the Pocket or up Main Arm at 1 or 2 in the morning, as I've done. And I'm not seeing double. I'm sure I'm not seeing double or triple. Those bloody cats coming out of every hedgerow and everything. And they're knocking off all our wildlife. So there's a whole environmental. There's obviously the environmental issues, many things brought up by that, the development issue, and of course they're the two that are so opposed to each other, the constant pressure on the environment by developers. North Ocean Shores is a classic example. And really quite a big win in many respects. It's not finished yet, but given what Alan Bond was set to do there, I mean, you take Ocean Shores. Now, Ocean Shores can be looked upon as a disaster in terms of what it was when I first saw it in 1971, when they just started. I drove up there in 1971. They were just bulldozing the roads into the farmland up there, and there was one house up there, the precursor of the roundhouse. There was an old farmhouse up there, and I suppose if you were here in 1960 and you came back here in 1996, you'd look at Ocean Shores and drop dead of a heart attack. But remember that the original plan was to extend what is Ocean Shores today to 4 times the area going north, right over the border into the Tweed. I mean, the whole area, just imagine, the next sort of 15 miles of coastline, just like Ocean Shores. And that's been a great win. That hasn't happened. I mean, that's what Alan Bond bought it to do. That's what Ludwig had it to do. That's what the original plans were. We're just going coining money out of this, raping this landscape. And that's stopped. So that's good. That's great. That's a victory. And it's not completely won yet. The owner up there still wants to, do developments and one thing and another. Fern Bay is a defeat, a terrible defeat, a real blow. But in our defeats, we also learn, to guard against it next time. So we're going to cop Fern Beach. I would say at this stage, I think there's still a chance that the very osmosis of this society we live in here will somehow freeze Fern Beach into eternity. I hope so. But legally speaking, it's unstoppable now. The war can only be won in 2 ways. It can be won by them when they've concreted over the entire Shire. I guess you could say then the war has been lost, when we're all living on under 6 inches of concrete. Or if we wish to win the war, or what's left of the war, if there is some sort of total freeze on development, or development is stopped to the point where it just can't go on. And I am sick to death of hearing the argument that you can't stop development. That is absolute bullshit. You go to Europe, to Britain, to the west coast of the United States, you go to any of those highly developed areas of the world, and what do you find? You find development that's stopped. You go to the Cotswolds. They allow development there? No, absolutely not. They stopped it years ago. Do you find development in so many of the places down the west coast of the United States? No, they've stopped it. They've said, right, that's enough. We'll stop here. And the argument to say that we've got to go on and on and on and on and on is just a wank, a complete and absolute wank.